Looking good. All right. It's so good to see you guys. Happy Friday. Okay, we're good. We are over there. Perfect. We're on in all the right places. Want to give you guys a second to get those workbooks printed out, get them ready. Have pen, paper, something to take some notes with. Today's really going to be kind of like pulling everything together that we've talked about this week. That's just really going to kind of bring this full circle for you guys, right? Like that's the plan today, is that everything we've done this week, we're going to kind of tie it all together. I call this a full circle. We want to kind of bring it all together for you guys. One quick thing before we get recorded and dive into the actual material. If you have submitted an application for either the Profitable Entrepreneur Program or for the Sell on Social program, please know we got your application. We are just sifting through them all and we're reorganizing and following up and getting back to everybody. We're going as quickly as we can. We're going through those as fast as we can. But I did just want to let you know, in case you're like, what's going on? If you submitted an application, just hang tight. I promise I'm on my way to you. I will get to it and I promise I will get back. Probably not as quickly as I thought. I had these high hopes that like, oh, within 24 hours, I'll get back to everybody. Not going to happen. But just sit tight because I promise we are on our way and we're going to get back to you. Okay. So if you submitted an application for either one of those programs, you're good. We got it. And I promise we're going to be getting back to you. It might be, if not today, it's going to probably be Monday. So just hang tight there. All right, let's go ahead and get recorded and let's start recording and dive in. Perfect. Okay. So today, this is session 4. This is the final session, guys, for teaching. We are going to do a bonus Q&A call on Monday. I'm going to be sending you guys today the information for that, the time for that. It will be here on Zoom like this. We are going to do a Q&A. And what I'd really love for you guys to do on that session, I would love that you bring in your workbook, you have a page on every single workbook. There's a page where you can share, if you guys can see this, your top takeaways, your top 3 takeaways, and your top 3 questions. And on that coaching, on that Q&A call, that coaching Q&A call, I want to answer those 3 questions that you wrote down for each day. And we're also going to be posting in the group and emailing everybody with like, what are the top questions that you have about anything and everything that we have covered this week? And then I'm going to address them all on the call, but I also want to answer your questions personally. So the reason we have a whole page dedicated to what were your top takeaways and what are your top 3 questions each day of the week is because we want to personalize this as much as we can for you. So make sure you have those filled in and bring those to that call. Okay. That way we can personalize this experience as much as we can for you. So that's going to happen. We'll get the details out to you guys with that, with the link, all that good stuff. Quick reminder, the replay page, we created an exclusive replay page for you guys. It's only being sent to people that registered. And what we're doing is that page is up. There's a timer right at the top that lets you know that page is going to be there until Tuesday next week at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then we shut it down. So that will go away. Okay. So I just want to let you know, if you're tuning in late, if you've missed anything, you've got till next Tuesday to get caught up on those replays. Okay. So that page is there. We've been emailing them out every day. So definitely just click that page, head over there. Again, just shoot us an email or send me a DM if you have any problems with any of that. Okay. Also, quick reminder, if you are wanting or thinking about anything we've talked about this week and you're feeling like the Profitable Entrepreneur would be a program where you want to, scale to 250,000 to 500,000 per year recurring revenue with a high ticket group signature coaching program, it's probably going to be a really good idea to fill out that application. It's a 12-month program. This is a high level incubator. And we're going to be doing a couple cool things with you guys. The same thing with Sell on Social. If you're under $5,000 a month, you definitely want to apply for Sell on Social. And actually what I'll do really quickly before we dive in is I'm just going to give you the links here in the chat. And so here's the thing. This is the link here for the Profitable Entrepreneur. If you are already booked with one-on-one, if you are already running a group program, or you really want to and you're ready this year to scale to $500,000 with a group signature program, you want to apply for that program using that link. That's the application. All of my programs are by application only. So there's no other way for us to work together if you don't fill out an application. And I also can't properly place you if I don't have your application and know where you stand. Now, if you're here and you're like, this is fantastic, it sounds fabulous, but like I'm a little bit newer on my journey. So maybe you are selling one-on-ones, maybe you're doing VIPs, maybe you're doing selling some one-off sessions, maybe you are generating some sales, but you're not having $5,000 to $8,000 months in your sleep. That seems to be a bit of a struggle. It's up and down. It's not happening. Maybe you've hit that point before, but then you fell back down and you're having a hard time getting there. Or maybe it's just that revenue roller coaster where you're like, I get this far and then I just can't get past that much. So if you're $5,000 or under in your business, the Sell on Social, which is this application here in the chat, that is the program you want to apply for. It's only $400 a month, and the only focus in that program is to get you to $5,000 to $8,000 recurring revenue per month as fast as we can, like literally 60 days or less. If you're not doing that, you're not doing the work, right? So if you do the work and you're already doing the work in your business, this is going to be really easy for you. You just got to follow the instructions, right? So I would apply for that program if that's where you are, because we can get you to 5 to 8K very quickly per month. And then you can apply for the Profitable Entrepreneur if that's where you really, really want to be. It's just about like, what do I need to do right now to get those sales up? And that might mean that we need to get foundations in place. We need to get clear on your messaging. We need to dial in your audience growth strategy so that we're attracting people that can afford you and that can pay your prices and that actually love what you do, versus the bottom feeders who don't have any money and they're just there to kind of binge on your free stuff, right? So we want to help you get the systems and the foundation in place so you could be successful. And that does start with just learning how to sell one offer, and then we can scale you up. So I want you to apply for where you think you are, and just know this: we won't accept any person into any of our programs if we don't feel 100% that you and I can partner together to reach your goals. If there's anything that's telling us you don't have what it takes, you're not ready, we can't help you, we don't think we have something for you right now, we're going to let you know. I want testimonials of every client in my program, and I want every one of my clients making money. If you're not doing that, then that's a huge problem, right? That's a huge, huge problem, because we're laying the foundation, we're setting the table. All you have to do is implement consistently. Okay. So apply for those based on where you really are right now versus I want to skip the steps and get to the fun stuff. We want to make sure you're successful first. We'll get you there. Okay. All right, let's dive into your workbook today. We have some good stuff to cover today. I want to talk about launching, one of my favorite topics. I want to talk about launching today because we've talked about, we've spent some time here and we've talked about champion clients. We have talked about high ticket offers. We have talked about attracting these champion clients who will pay your price points and join your programs and get great results. And we've talked about all that stuff. But one of the most common questions that I get from just about every entrepreneur that I talk to is, Anne, how the heck do you get those champion clients to join your program to begin with, right? Where are these people? Who are these people? And how the heck do I fill my program with these people? That is the number one most common question I get from entrepreneurs. So there's two parts to this that I want you to just kind of like decipher for a second. One thing that you need to be doing is lead generation every day. Okay, it's not sexy. I am not going to lie to you. I am not going to sit here and tell you it's fun. That it's a good time, that it's amazing. It's like you'll love doing it in your business. It's actually not one of the sexy things that you do in your business. It's actually not that fun to generate leads, to find leads, to pull people into your ecosystem. It's not a lot of fun. And it's not something that most entrepreneurs wake up excited to do every day. But it's one of those things that, like, without customers, you're out of business. and that's any business in the whole wide world, online, offline, without daily customers coming into your store, so AKA your Facebook group, your email list, whatever, without those customers coming in every day, where does your company get the business? Where do we make sales? Where does the revenue come from? There is no business if we have no customers. So in our case, being online business owners, we're really looking for leads. We're looking to build an audience, bring new leads into our ecosystem every day, so that we have new customers to nurture, build relationships with, and sell every day, right? So think of your business like your hair salon or your grocery store, just so we can put it into perspective. Imagine if you got up every day and you drove to your hair salon and you were the owner of that company and you opened your doors, and every day for days, weeks, or even months, you opened those doors and nobody entered. Nobody ever came in. No one came in and looked around. Nobody came in and shopped. Nobody purchased. Let's just say that after days, weeks, or even months, that was your experience. You would be bankrupt and out of business as quickly as you open the doors, right? Because how do you pay for all the things? And how do you keep a business viable and profitable if there's zero customers? So I want to kind of shed light on this, because I think that everything we've talked about here, the way you tie it all together is we need to put more focus and energy, not just on growing your audience. You don't need a big audience. You don't need a massive audience to generate $500,000, but you do need people who have money to invest in what you're selling. And you do need people that already love what you do and are obsessed with what you do and see the value in what you do, and they already want it. They probably already invested in similar things if they're not investing already. That is critical, because as business owners, what I see is a lot of content creation, a lot of checking the boxes, right? And we feel accomplished. At the end of the day, we're like, hey, I checked 50 boxes today. I worked hard today. I did a lot. I worked 12 hours today. And we didn't get a single new customer or sale. To me, what was the point of any of that? What was the point of anything we did today if no new money hit the bank, right? And this isn't about personal. This is business. If there's no new sales coming into your bank account every single day, on demand, on repeat, we have a huge problem and gap in our business model or the strategies that we're using. It means our focus isn't consistently in the right place. Lead generation is not even an option. It's not like a multiple choice. It's like you have to do it, okay? Or your sales pipeline burns out and eventually nobody's buying, okay? So I want you to think, we just don't live in a world anymore where we can just post, we can just pitch, we could just promote, we could just email and that be enough. That was really good. For those of you that have been here a while, that did work like even 5 years ago. I think prior to COVID, that kind of worked. Not as good as it used to, but if you take us back 5, 8, maybe 10 years ago, that worked. You didn't have to do live video. You didn't have to launch. You didn't have to do all this stuff. You could post, you could email, you could send direct messages, you could sell in Facebook groups, you could do whatever you wanted. And you could probably fill your sales pipeline really fast because the market was less saturated and there was less going on. Today, we have billions of entrepreneurs and amazing talent, and everybody's giving so much away every day. Everyone's giving free stuff. Everyone's selling stuff. I mean, you can go on Google today and get so much for free that was never free before. You had to pay a coach or a mentor to get access to a PDF, right? Like you didn't get that stuff for free years ago, which is why it was so easy for people to buy from you because they needed and wanted that information. It's on Google today, right? For free. It's everywhere. Go look in your inbox. There's probably 1 million free things in there for you today. Go look at your newsfeed. There's 1 million people giving you free stuff, workshops, masterclasses, PDFs, downloads, guides, trainings, whatever. And there's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of good talent, which means people have a lot more options today. So the whole entire key is that you have to stand out. And you're not going to stand out by blending in and being a copycat or doing what everybody else is doing or saying what everybody else is saying or teaching what everybody else is teaching, and not bringing your own personality into your business brand and building relationships, real, genuine relationships with the people within your community that you invited there. It's like inviting people, your neighbors, to your house for a party, and then you go sit in your bedroom and watch TV, and they're all out in your living room like, I don't know what we're doing here, but this party sucks. And where's the host? What are we supposed to do? Do we leave? Do we just sit here and wait? I don't know. They're probably, what's the likelihood that they're going to come to your next party? Probably not, right? They're going to go down to the neighbor who's got some cool things going on, is entertaining them and building relationship and giving them something to drink, giving them something to eat, sitting by the pool, talking, hanging out, right? That's where you're going to go. You're going to go to the party that's actually fun. When you think about your group and you think about your email list or whatever platform you're using to connect with people, you need to look at it like a party. And you are the host of that party. And people coming back again and again and again and wanting to build a relationship with you and be your best friend and join your stuff and be part of everything you do is going to be determined by how good of a host you are. And we've talked so much about community. It's not just in your paid programs. I like to look at my audience as paying clients when it comes to building a relationship with them. You better believe we spend hours and hours a day in the DMs. You better believe that every single human in our audience, if we have their email, they receive an email. If they provide their cell phone, they receive a text message from us. We're not going around pitching people to death. We are building genuine relationships. And we're leading with a lot of free things, such as this free workshop that we launched. So I just want to bring this back to everybody's kind of like, I just want to bring it down to the basics of like what really creates wealth in a business. Profitability, sustainability, viability, where you could sell your company. What brings that? And I'm going to tell you the foundation is relationships. It's always been relationships. It will always be relationships. And as trends and platforms and algorithm and social media comes and goes and evolutionizes, because it will, it always does, what's going to be the foundation of your longevity and success in your business? The relationships you've built with people, the trust you've built with your audience, right? If they take your Facebook away today, shut it down, happens every day. I've had multi-millionaire clients who have had their accounts shut down for no reason and never turned back on. They had to start over. I'm just saying, if that happened today to you and you lost all of your Facebook, your group, your profile, and no matter what you did, you couldn't get it turned back on, what would happen to your sales in your business? If they took your Instagram, our Instagram got shut down a few weeks ago for no reason, deleted, and they won't turn it back on. They won't even communicate. So we had to start over. If that happens and you use Instagram for if you put all your faith in Instagram to hold your audience, what happens now? Good for us. We had the most of those people in our Facebook group and on our email list. But the point I'm trying to get at is when you build relationships, people will follow you. They will scout you down. When platforms and trends change, they will follow you, right? Because they look up to you. They want to be in your community. They want to be in your energy. Lead generation is not negotiable, okay? All right. So that's one part of the champion client piece, and being able to generate the consistent sales is we need to be doing lead generation. Do not put your faith in algorithms. Do not put your faith in shiny, sexy trends that are very short-lived. Use your intuition and your gut on what has always been the one thing that's never changed when it comes to any business in the world. It's the relationships, 100%. So I want you to be thinking about that and not putting all your eggs in a specific platform, because that can go away and be taken away from you like this. And you have no say, and you lose all of that. Your content, your people, your connections, everything you got going on, it's gone. Okay. We need to be really smart and strategic about this. The second thing, that if you feel like your audience might be like ghost town, I hear this all the time, crickets, ghost town. Here's the thing I want to say about this. If you're not bringing new leads into your group or your community or your email list every single day, if you're not doing that, then your engagement is low because Facebook or your email service provider, they look, because it's based on algorithm and your consistent action, they're basically looking at your normal activity, and they're basing the results of that on, do we help her share this? Do we help her get this out to more people? Do we boost this up? Do we make sure more people see it? With your email provider, if you send out an email and most of your people don't open it, the email service provider has algorithm automations in place that say, don't send this email to the other people because we sent it to this group. They're not opening it. They're not interested or whatever. And they drop that deliverability down. And guess where you end up? Spam box, promotion box. You end up somewhere other than their inbox. So you might think you're doing all these things, but everything that we're doing is based on algorithm. And the algorithm is saying, you don't email that often. And when you do, nobody's opening. So boom, drop it right down, because it is the email deliverability's job to ensure that you're not spamming people and that the people that are on your email list are getting the things they want. And the only way the algorithm can pick that up is seeing opens, clicks, and you being consistent with your email. Same exact thing with Facebook. I was just talking to Gary Vee about this not too long ago. Same exact thing with your Facebook. Maybe 3% of the people in your Facebook group or on your Facebook period are seeing one post that you put out. And here's what Facebook now has automations in place where when you post, if it doesn't get engagement, Facebook automatically shuts off the notifications for everybody in your group to be notified that you posted or you went live or whatever. So guess what's happening in your group? Most of the people, over 90% of them, they don't even see what you're posting. They don't know you went live. They don't know you did 50 posts this week because they don't see them and they don't get notifications. Why does this happen? Because you, as the host of your group, did not communicate and build a relationship with the people coming into your group. So they died off, right? They forgot they joined your group and why, and they died off. And the algorithm said, oh, you don't post consistently. Or when you do post, nobody's interacting. They shoot it down. They shut your notifications off because that's their job, to protect everybody and make sure everybody's getting only what they want to see. And so your audience is telling the algorithm, when they don't engage, they're telling the algorithm, I don't want to see this content. I don't care about it. And the algorithm's job is to stop showing them that. So they shut the notifications off, so your group does not get those. And then they don't share your post. If your post doesn't get engagement, Facebook doesn't help you share it and push it to the top. Period. It's all 100% algorithm focused. You have no control other than build relationships with your people so they want to live in your group. They want to see everything you do. They are participating, they're commenting, they're engaging. If you don't do that, your group will be dead and it's pointless to have. Now, you could do social selling and be in the DMs and build conversation that way and build relationships that way. But Facebook is still watching those algorithms. Facebook is still paying attention. Here's the thing. I can send 200 direct messages a day. Most people send 50 and get blocked. We can send 200 a day. We are sending 200 direct messages to our Facebook group, our Facebook friends list per day, every day, 7 days a week, 200 DMs a day to our people. We're not getting any blocks or flags or anything. I have people that send 50 a day and they're blocked and in jail for a day, or 20. Do you know why? Because Facebook knows our habit. Facebook knows for a long time, every single day, we send these DMs. We don't do it once a week. We don't do it once a month or every quarter when we're doing a launch. We don't do it once in a while. We don't do that. We're showing the Facebook algorithm, this is normal activity for me. So when you post or DM and you get a block or, hey, you're in jail, you can't send DMs or whatever. Do you know why it's doing that? It's not because you can't send 200 DMs a day. That's not your normal activity. You don't typically do this. So now you look like you're spamming and we're blocking you. And now you're going to have a harder time every single time you get blocked to get your algorithm healthy again. That's why consistency is non-negotiable. You can't do something once or twice or for a week or two and then stop. So I want to really just kind of shed this light because, I mean, we could do so many trainings on lead gen. And I will tell you right now, it's a huge part of my trainings and my membership sites and in my programs, my curriculum. We have a whole section in all of my programs on lead generation and the way it is today. Because if you don't know how to do this and what you're doing isn't working, the only solution is to change it. And I'm going to tell you, 9 out of 10, it's not really the platform or the strategy, it's you. Right? I know it's a tough pill to swallow and I had to go through that as well, but it's you. It's the lack of consistency. It's being all over the place. And the thing is you're choosing to use social media. Social media is algorithm focused. So you have to work with the algorithm or it works against you. And that's not an option. We all have to deal with that if we're going to use social media. So you have to be consistent. Okay. So that's the thing I recommend. And what I teach my clients in my programs is that you bring 20 to 30 leads a day into your ecosystem. And I don't care how you do it. We got a whole list of ways you can do this like that. Take about a minute a day. We literally recommend that if you're not bringing 20 to 30 new leads into your audience every day, then you're not going to see the results. The sales pipeline is going to dry up. Your algorithm is going to be a crapshoot, basically. And you're going to be chasing sales, chasing, 100%. And you're going to have this. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So consistency. Okay. Consistency. So when my clients come to me and they tell me, Anne, I'm not getting results. Here's the thing. There's nobody who runs a business that can't get results. Okay. There's nobody that shouldn't be getting results. It's like, what are you doing with your time? What are we doing? I tell my clients and I teach 3 main things that you got to do every day. 3 things. Every business owner can do it. It can take you 1 to 3 hours a day. And if you run a business, you must have that time available, right? Grow the audience by 20 or 30 per day. When you wake up in the morning and you get working, I don't care what you have to do, get those 20 to 30 people in, check the box. That's the box you want to check. Second thing, nurture and build the trust and relationship with those people. You're not going to generate sales just by filling a Facebook group with whoever or an email list. That's not sales. That's not going to get you sales and that's not going to produce sales. Get in the relationship with them, qualify them, give them some content, get them nurtured, get them feeling like, hey, you have the thing I want and need right now. What's the next step for that? Can we talk about that? Learn how to build trust fast by using human behavior sales techniques, which nobody teaches, but that's psychology. That's science. It's backed by science. It's the reason I don't have to do sales calls. It's the reason I don't get objections. It's the reason why I don't have people sending me 300 questions before they buy from me, because I use human behavior sales psychology, which works with you and me as humans and not against us. You have to equip yourself with that skill set. All right. You have to have a really strong skill in communication and sales if you want to be a business owner that makes money. Everybody can be a business owner, but not everyone is making money and not everyone is profitable. Right. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is you got to sell. You need to be providing solutions. Your doors are open for business every day, and that's business. Right? Take all the personal shit out of that. That's business. So you sell every day. You put invitations out, you follow up with people, you book consults if that's what you need to do. You get into conversation. Let me say this. If every single one of you have 300 people between your email list, your Facebook profile, your Facebook group, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, if every single one of you here right now today have at least 300 people within all of that total combined, then you have anywhere from probably $40,000 to $60,000 that you are leaving on the table because you're not pulling up that list and sending a message to every single one of them. If you really wanted to make money by the end of the day, pull up your Facebook group members and start sending direct messages, start commenting and engaging with their stuff, start building the relationship, get in front of them, wake them up a little bit and sell a solution. 100%. If I was on the street and had to start over today, you better believe that's what I would be doing. Go in other Facebook groups, start connecting with people and start commenting on their stuff, start showing some love for a good week or so, and then get in a conversation with them. Get them in your Facebook group, get them in your ecosystem, let them see what you're all about. Boom, sales will happen. It's a numbers game. 300 people will give you 6 to 7 sales. even if you suck at selling, period. And if you sell a 10 or 12,000 or more dollar year-long program, well, that's $60,000 right there. Do you have that right now? That's awesome. That's an extra $60,000 you don't have today. What we're doing up here is we're like, what can I post today? And what can I pitch? And how can I promote? And who else can I pitch my program to? And let me pitch, because it's all about me. That's not going to get you sales. That's not going to get you sales. At the end of the day, you need to get in conversations with people because nobody knows you. Just because you're posting and pitching all the time, that doesn't mean anybody knows you. Doesn't mean they know, like, and trust you or understand what you do. If you're someone who struggles with effectively communicating really concisely, here's who I work with and how I can help you following this process right here. If you have a hard time doing that, even more so, it's harder for your audience to understand how you can help them. And they're not going to reach out in their busy day and be like, can you explain this better to me? They're not going to do that. That's your job. That's your job to get better at that, right? Nobody can do that for you. That's your job. Get clear on what you do and what your specialty and your expert zone is, and stick to it. Stop switching up and trying to be something you're not and someone you're not, and share all these things. Like, niche it down to one thing. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about launching now. And a big part of launching is going to be your lead gen and also what we just talked about. If we can't effectively communicate and we're not building relationships and all we want to do is funnel people into an automation and pile them up so we can make money and sit on the beach, I'm probably going to say you're in the wrong business. You have to care a little bit more about something other than money. You actually need to care about the people. You need to care about really helping people and solving the problem or helping them have a transformation or an experience they want to have. Today, because it's such a saturated market, you can't not care about your people and make sales. That's like 10 years ago, maybe 5, 8 years. I don't know, somewhere around there, right, Lisa? Like, it's somewhere. It's years ago that did work. I mean, when I first started my business, I was on welfare collecting food stamps. The only goal I had was I needed to make money to feed my kid. That was 20 years ago. That was almost 21 years ago now. That does not work today. If you don't care, genuinely care about your people and build a relationship and take the time to connect with them, you are going to have a hard time generating sales, and you can do all this strategy all day long. Okay. So I want to start with that. All right, let's go to your workbook because I want to get into this now. Let's go to your workbook. I want to share the 6 reasons why I love launching. There is so much that people have to say about launching. Oh, launching is dead. Launching sucks. Launching is time intensive. It's all this stuff. And launching is whatever you make it. I will say this, if you're not excited to be in your business and to connect, that's a problem. Like, if you look at the things you need to do in your business to build relationships and make money and help people as like a chore or a hassle or an inconvenience, a 9-to-5 job would be probably the way to go, right? Just saying. Okay, so here's the number 1 reason why launching is going to be critical for 2022, 2023, 2024, according to Gary Vee. But no, really, the year's up. Here's why launching. Number 1 reason launching is going to be very critical for your business is, number 1, every business launches. So write these in your workbook. Every business, online, offline, brick and mortar. Do you know a business that doesn't launch? They launch deals and specials. You see Nike doing it, right? You see Nike doing it. You see Verizon or any phone company. They actually launch or pre-launch months in advance. They let you know months in advance, there's a new phone coming out. It is in the making. It's going to be released on this date, and it's usually 2 or 3 months out. They're already telling you're getting flyers, you're hearing it on the radio, you're seeing it all over their buildings, you're seeing it in your inboxes, you're seeing it in your text messages, you're seeing it everywhere. Everyone in the world knows, everybody, that phone is being released on this date. That's a launch. That's a launch. Every business in the world does some kind of launch for some kind of thing that they've got going on. Whether it's you're buying a product, or you're going to come attend a virtual event or a local event that's free. But they are launching. Any business that makes money, any business that makes good money, profitable businesses, successful businesses, they launch. Okay. That's the flyers you get. That's the phone calls you get. That's those emails we're like, delete, spam, whatever, right? There's those text messages. We're like, stop, I get it. That's launching. It bothers some people and others it don't. They make billions of dollars doing it. It works, right? Every business is launching. It's something you're always going to have to do, especially online, because you don't have a building out on a busy street where people can drive by every day and see you. How do they see you? Your content, your launches, your marketing, your live shows, your podcast. It's all of your marketing. That's how people know you exist and understand what you do. If you're not doing those things, then the world doesn't know you even exist, or not enough people know you exist. Now, the beautiful thing with launching, the way I teach it in my programs for my clients, 90% of it can be 100% delegated out. Once you, as the CEO of your company, get the process down. We don't give things to people before we have a process, because then you're pouring people into like nothing, and then they're trying to figure it out for you. That's not their job. You get the process in place, you do that hard work in the beginning, and then you delegate it out. I didn't delegate for the first 10, 12 years of my business. I did it all myself because I had to get it to work. I had to make sure it really worked, and I had a solid process. So when someone came in, it's like, here's what you do. And we already know it works. Then they're set up for success. So you're going to always launch, but it's not always going to look the same. It's not always going to be done by you, the CEO, right? I usually have my clients do it for the first 6 months, like the first few launches. And then we start to build out some team, 1 or 2 people, and we get some things off your plate. But by the end of the year, heading into your year 2 with us, 90% of everything you're doing in your company is delegated out. You're basically showing up to go live, and you're doing strategic partnerships. That's it. That's what you do, and lead your team. You're the visionary, right? That's what we do. Okay, number 2. I want to be very clear about this. Automation does not replace human connection. It's sexy to think, oh my God, I set up all this automation and funnels and I don't have to do anything in my business. I don't know anybody who does that. I don't know anybody. I'm friends with all the multi-millionaires and even billionaires in our coaching space. I've either worked for them, hired them as my mentors, or we're colleagues. But in one way or another, for the last 20 years, I've been with all of them. Nobody's doing that. There's none of them. None of them are doing that. You see all of Gary Vee's videos and posts. Where did those come from? You know how many hours he spent recording those so his team could deliver them? You see all these people doing all these automated funnels, and I'm making millions of dollars doing it. I'm on the beach, and that's where I live every day. Do you know what they had to do to get there? I'm friends with them all. They worked their asses off to get to that point. And they spend a ton of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on advertising to maintain all that automation, to maintain millions of dollars in their business hands off. They have team, technology, and massive money thrown at advertising. If that's not hard work, especially with the way algorithm is and Facebook ads are today, if that isn't hard work, I don't know what is, right? You get to $500,000 having a few conversations every month with the right people, paying you enough money, and boom, you're there. So I just want you to understand what happens when those platforms don't work anymore and they go away. How are you going to run your business? How are you going to fill your funnels to make millions of dollars on passive when Facebook ads no longer exist and nobody can afford it and they don't work anymore, which is happening right now? My multi-million dollar mentors and colleagues and clients are bringing in organic lead generation and organic social selling because the ads suck. They're expensive and you're not getting good leads. And you're paying 5-10 times as much as you were before COVID. So point is, if that's your business model, you're in trouble when that's no longer a thing. We have people who teach specifically how to do something with, like, let's say a Facebook group. That's great. But what about when Facebook groups is not here anymore? Then what are you doing? Right? I just want you guys to expand your mind a little bit and think beyond this idea that instant gratification is even a thing. You're going to work your ass off, flat out. You're going to work your ass off to build a multi-million-dollar business or even a multiple 6-figure business, 100%. And I don't know anyone who hasn't. And 100%, there's no such thing as passive. Nothing is passive. Everything requires time, money, energy, and work. People, technology, that's not free. That's not effortless. That shit's actually really hard to get that all functioning. And then it's all out of your control, right? Technology can do whatever it wants. Platforms, it's out of your control. So you're pivoting and adjusting and changing constantly. Okay. So that's not any easier than getting in and building relationships with people who will follow you everywhere you go. And you don't need to work so hard to do it because you built that relationship. Entirely different. Okay. So automation is not replacing the fact that you have to do human connection. You have to incorporate organic social selling into whatever else you're doing. You could do paid whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, but make sure you have a very high proven process in place for organic lead gen, organic social selling, no matter what you're doing, so that when those things go, and they will, you have a strategy to continue what you've been doing. We had our biggest months during the recession when we first had COVID. Biggest financial year I've ever experienced. Same with my clients. We did not have anybody quitting our programs. We didn't have anyone who couldn't make payments. We were not financially struggling whatsoever. My model, my business model is recession proof. It isn't dictated by any which one thing. And it's all built. The foundation is human connection, period, 100%. I will pay team to help me build relationships and connect with my people and pull them into conversation before I will pay for advertising. Flat out, all day, any day, that's what we do. That's how you scale. People are like, oh, but organic lead gen and organic social selling is slow and like it's not scalable. The only people who say that are the people that don't know how to use it. Because at the end of the day, you can hire people to do 90% of this for you. That's scalable. And at the end of the day, you're building relationships. That's scalable, right? And so organic lead gen is slower, it's more time intensive, but once you get it down, you give it away to people who love doing that. You show them how you want it done. That is scale. And when Facebook advertising goes away, what are those people going to be doing? Organic lead generation and social selling. Most of them are doing it right now, right? You're probably getting DMs from people that you're like, wow, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, because now they have to, right? So that is number 2. The other reason with live launch and number 3 is it's all about that human connection. When you live launch, you are bringing a group of like 300 or more people together who have all raised their hand and said, I want to learn this. I want to spend these days with you. I want to be in this group, in this community, and I want to learn the thing that you're teaching. They give you their name, their email, they're here for it. Versus, I'm just going to pitch my thing to all the people I'm connected with on every platform, and I'm going to sit back and hope for the best. That's not a very good sales strategy. It's not. I've done it before. It's just not a good strategy. That is not sustainable. And what you're doing is you are giving all your power away because you're like, come on, algorithm, come on, social media, get those people buy-in. That's not going to happen. When you launch, these people, they checked in for this. They raised their hands. They opted in. They want to be here. These are active, qualified people. This is why the lead gen is so critical. And it goes hand in hand with your launch. You're not just going to launch to everybody in your social media. You're going to build 300 plus registration list. These are your buyers. These are the people that are literally interested in what you're selling and teaching. They're here for that, right? They could be anywhere else in the world. They're here for that. They registered and they even gave you their personal information. Okay. That's how you generate one-to-many sales that are leveraged versus the one-to-one. Let me post. I'll get 1 sale a month. Let me send 10 emails instead of 5. Maybe I'll get another low ticket sale this month. That is slow. That is slow. And that's not really an efficient sales strategy. Okay. So when you live launch, it's that party we're talking about. It's waking up the algorithm. It's getting people excited again. It's getting these last 4 days have been the best 4 days that I've had since the last time I launched, which was a while ago, other than my group calls with my clients. Other than that, these 4 days have been amazing because we're getting in the room. We're having good conversations. I'm sharing with you what I hope is going to change things for you if you do something with it, right? We are coming onto these Zoom sessions. I'm not doing these just in a Facebook group like a Bobble Talking Head. We're here on Zoom together. right? We can interact, we can ask questions, we can see each other, we can connect. We've done breakout sessions, we've been having fun. And so at the end of the day, when you live launch, you get to do all that, which you're not typically doing every day in your business, right? You're not really having that connection and fun every day in your business. So when you do it, you should be shouting it from the rooftops. It's a freaking party, and you should be really excited, right? You should be really, 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 really excited that you're going to be doing a launch and connecting with hundreds of humans that are all here to learn what you have to talk about. That's amazing. And that is far more profitable than posting and pitching every day and emailing. And we're doing those things. But again, you got to have something different to spice it up a little bit. And once you get this down, have your team do all of it. And then all you have to do is show up live. And once your assets are created, you're reusing it. So the work is done after the first and second launch. The hard work of like creating all the shit, done after the first or second launch. Okay. So it's very scalable, very delegatable, very leveraged. We're not just talking about like our regular launch, right? We're talking about a launch that is scalable, that you can leverage, that you can delegate out, that is sustainable regardless of the economy, regardless of platforms, regardless of trends and strategy and algorithm. It works. It's worked across the board now for us for 8 years straight, no matter what's been going on. Okay. That is number 3. Number 4 is that live launching builds brand recognition. I'm a huge believer in the power of one. I believe that if you want to add multiple layers to your business, you need to get one working first. So many entrepreneurs want to skip to this idea of something that is the end. I made it. I'm there. There is no end. There is no I'm there. Like you're always just going, right? At the end of the day, when you're trying to do multiple things, I'm trying to sell multiple programs, I'm trying to do multiple launches, I'm trying to teach multiple things, I'm trying to work with multiple types of clients, I'm like doing all this stuff, I'm on 50 platforms. If you're broke, if your bank account is like 0 or in the negative, or if what you're doing is not paying off, you have to understand you're probably trying to do things that you are not equipped to do successfully, that you don't have the skill set for, you don't have the knowledge and the sophistication, and strategically, you probably don't have what you need in place to make something like that work. For example, you can promote and pitch and market all day long on all the platforms in your email, and you could have the numbers there, but at the end of the day, if you don't know how to effectively communicate, it falls on deaf ears. If you can't sell organically, you're not going to sell on a sales page, you're not going to sell on paid advertising. Those things don't make you money. They just take what you're already doing that's working really well and they leverage it and scale it for you. If you think that, oh, I can't sell on social media, let me put an automated funnel together and just funnel, that isn't going to work either. Where are those leads coming from? They're not just going to fall out of the sky. And if you don't know how to effectively communicate, people are not going to join your thing and buy and all of that anyway, right? I cannot tell you in my earlier years how many funnels I set up because it was the sexy thing back then. And I'm like, oh, let me automate everything and I'll live on the beach for life. Like, oh my God, nobody purchased anything. I think we had like $127 sale out of freaking weeks of effort. It was so like, oh my God, I could have gotten conversations with people and made like 60 grand. It was absolutely insane to me. You will have success with automated funnels and passive this and passive that and multiple offers when you get one thing working really well because you've built the skill and you've built the knowledge and the sophistication and the process. When you get that down, you just add it to everything else you want to do, right? I did one-on-one coaching for 10 years in my business and I never offered anything else except ever. I had no sales page. I had no website. I didn't have anything. All I did was get in conversations every day and people were getting on sales calls with me and we were closing sales. And I was doing 10K months. Boom, easy, just like that. And I had so many clients, I had a wait list. It was ridiculous. I couldn't serve them all. I didn't create a group program until I had that huge wait list of people that I could not serve in a one-on-one anymore. And I knew my process. My clients were giving me testimonials left and right. I knew that what I was teaching them worked. I flipped it into a group program. Right? And now that's what I've been doing. But you can't just add everything all at once and hope that by adding more stuff and doing more and creating more and being more and all this stuff, like that's magically going to make more money. I do a quarter of what you guys do, maybe. And I do $500,000 a year. I do a quarter of what most of you are probably doing. It has nothing to do with more and more and more and more and more and more and more. It's actually far less better. Okay. I cannot stress that enough. We could do a whole session on that. And it is something I teach in my programs because we have to understand that it isn't about more. You guys are working way too hard. You're doing way too much. It's just in the wrong places. Okay. Okay. Number 5. You're in a live launch, you're selling one-to-many versus one-to-one. Now, this comes down to a preference, but I would ask you, how hard do you want to work for the amount of money you want to make? I am all about working smarter, not harder. I have a life. My business is not my life. My business is a small part of my life. And my business is, the intention of it is to support the life I want to have, not the other way around. So for me, I don't want to do sales calls. I don't want to be on calls every single day, all day long. I don't want clients that depend on me for every single thing and are client dependent. I don't want everyone coming to me for everything. I don't want to work 40 hours a week. I don't even want to work 30 hours a week. I barely work 25 hours a week. I don't want to. I know what I want. I know what my values are. Okay. I know what that looks like for me. And so live launching and having a high ticket group signature coaching program allows me to serve and sell and deliver one-to-many. You can have a one-on-one sales call, let's say for 30, or some of you guys are doing like 60 minutes. That's got to stop. But let's just say you have a sales call for 60 minutes. You can have a group call in 60 minutes and close multiple sales versus that one sales call at a time that takes you 60 minutes and you might close. You're not going to close all of those. So think about that, right? It's about your time. It's about your effort. I'm not going to work and overexhaust myself and burn out to generate the kind of money and the lifestyle I want to have. You can make your business work for you when you equip yourself with the skill set, you get clarity and you simplify. Stop trying to be everything to everybody and do all the things. That is not what overachievers do. And I want you to think about simplifying and being masterful at the 3 areas and being masterful at less, not half-assing more stuff. For some of you, you switch things up so much, like it's hard to keep track of what the heck you're doing and what you do and what your specialty is and who we're serving and what we're selling today. And like, if I'm confused, if you're confused, your audience is definitely confused. So it's about simplifying. It's about shrinking it down until you're at a place where you're making millions of dollars and you can hire people, teams, systems to test other little ideas that you have to see if they're going to work in whatever, right? So I just want you thinking about that, because really, guys, when it comes to scaling, if everything's on your shoulders in your business, everything, and if everything that you're doing is a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, like 6 years from now, 10 years from now, you might hit 250,000. We'll see, maybe 300,000. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. It's just about like, what do you not know? And these are good questions to ask yourself. I do this all the time for my levels, right? Like every time I up level, it's like, oh my God, what do I not know? Or what am I not equipped with? Like, where am I lacking on my skills? And what do I not know? Or what am I not that good at that I'm going to need to be good at in order to create these results? Or who do I need to come in and help me so that this can happen? A lot of you operate on this idea that you can just do it all and figure it all out. And it's not going to happen, because unless you're invested in learning that and actually applying that skill, not just learning it, but applying it and getting masterful at it, or hiring someone to do that thing for you, you don't know what you don't know. Flat out, you don't know what you don't know. And you do not see your bottlenecks. You do not see your breakdowns, no matter how much you think you do. The only thing you might be really clear on is that you're not consistent at the right areas, and that what you're doing is not working as good as you think it should be. You're clear on that. But why those breakdowns are happening, you probably don't know, right? You probably don't know. So this is something to think about. Okay, the 6th thing with why I believe so much in live launching, guys, is that you're building mastery. You have people that are like watching you do the same workshop over and over and over and over, watching you sell the same offer over and over and over, watching you talk about your same curriculum, your same client results, your same outcomes, your same process over and over and over and over. What is that? You think Nike, you think Verizon, you think Gucci, you think Louis Vuitton, Red Bottoms, you think Rolls Royce, Range Rover, you think of these big names. How did they become brands? Luncheon, but like they have the same thing, they say the same things over. Nike has never changed their logo, their colors, none of that has ever changed, right? Their slogan has never changed. They are so consistent. You hear these commercials where you're like, oh my God, same thing. They're saying the words over and over and over, and you like shut the commercial off because you're like, I heard you the first 5 times. You keep saying it. That's brand building though. They're instilling those. So the next time you hear that, you know exactly who that is. The next time you hear that on the radio, you're like, oh, that's that place or whatever, right? That is mastery that they've built by being so consistent for so many years that whether you want it or not, it's instilled in your brain. You might not even like the place, but it's in your brain because you hear it so much. You see the signs, you see the slogan, you hear the words, you hear the voice. That's consistency. 99% of entrepreneurs don't have that. There's only 1% that do. Most people, most entrepreneurs are like, I did it 3 times. It didn't work. That strategy sucks. Doesn't work for me. I'm done. I quit. What's another thing? That's the problem. That's the problem. You think it was easy getting where I am today? 20 years in the making. And let me tell you, I've had some hardship. This has been difficult. This has been hard. This has been trying. This has tested me beyond anything I thought I was capable of. And then sometimes I wasn't. It has up-leveled me. I've sacrificed a lot. I've had to work a lot. I've had to do a lot of things I don't want to do. There's nothing that's been easy about this. Nothing, not one thing has been easy about just getting to where I am now. And I am nowhere near where I want to be. A lot more work to do. And I won't even get into the inner critic and the inner stuff that comes with all of this. There's nothing easy about this. That's why there's only 1% that lasts. And most business owners go out of business in the first 3 years. It's because you don't have the resiliency. You don't have the commitment. You check out as soon as it gets hard. You're done, you give up, you switch it up the minute something doesn't work. Part of the live launch cycle that we teach is you're going to do it over and over, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. The better you're going to get. You will get better at all the parts of it, not just the launching, but the communicating, your process. You're building a mastery and being consistent. You're building a mastery around the workshop, the topics, your talk, your invitation, your sales pitch. You're getting better on camera. You're getting better at how, like, building relationships and answering objections and questions and crushing those right away. You get so good at selling your program and your offer. And then you master delivering it because you're being so consistent and you're being resilient. You're the person that's saying, I don't care if I fail 10 times, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to get this. I'm going to figure it out. And then you're taking your money and you're investing in mentorship, personal development, and business training, acumen, so that you get the education, skill set, and sophistication in the areas you're lacking so that you can make this happen. That's all part of this. There is no, here's the secret strategy. Here's the secret thing. There is none of that. This is really a personal journey. It's an internal personal journey that you're on. It's all about you. It's about you doing what you need to do to be the person with the skills that are required to do what you're trying to do, to create what you're trying to create. It has nothing to do with a strategy. They all work. Nothing to do with that. You don't need more strategy. You don't need more learn. What you need to do is develop the skills, the clarity and the confidence, and a muscle of consistency and resilience to go after what you say you want. And you better be rock solid on what you want, because it's not going to be easy. It isn't overnight. It's not fast. And half the shit you do isn't even going to work. Or it's going to work, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. And you're like, keep going. You know how many failed launches we've had? We have not changed our process. You know how many failed launches my clients have had? They keep doing it. Turns around, right? My client Debbie did like an 80 something or $100,000 launch, like a couple times in a row. And then she did a launch and she's like, we're not getting any sales. What the heck happened? And she was literally second guessing everything. And our team was like, I don't know, we're doing all the things we always do. I'm like, relax. She ended up having a good launch, but it was nothing like her previous 3 launches. Lisa, you probably remember her talking about that on the coaching session, but guess what? Her next launch, she went on and whatever. And that is it. That's why you do things over and over and over and over, because things are gonna work and then they're not. And it might not be nothing to do with what you're doing. For Debbie, in that particular situation, her and her team did every single thing perfectly. They followed the process and they did it the way they did every time. They did their launch debrief, and then they went back and they made the improvements. We told them what to change. They went back and did it. And her team were crushing. They did everything right. But there was other things going on around that had nothing to do with them and they had no control over, that were just doing that. And so they had a little quiet launch. She could have given up right there and been like, this doesn't work and we're going to switch. We need to find another way. She just kept going. Put another launch on the books, continue your social selling, get your team in the DMs. And she did just fine. Right? I have her on video saying, oh my God, I was freaking out, but we're good. We're good. We're doing what you're saying. We're following it to the T and it's actually working. They're fine. Perfectly fine. That's resilience. That's commitment. If you're not committed to what you're doing and you're not building that mastery, how do you expect the results to happen? If you're really just not even really into it. If you're not into it, you're not committed to it, there's no real rhyme or reason of why you're doing what you're doing, what would make you think you're going to get results? Get in alignment, get excited, re-energize yourself, right? We have to get aligned with that. And the way that you're going to build the mastery is stop thinking you need to create something new or do something new or be something new or sell something new, and power of one, mastery. And then whatever you don't know, if you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know how to do this, or I'm not good at that, or this thing doesn't work and I know I have gaps, go get help to fix them. But then you have to receive that help and you need to go do the work, because nobody can do it for you. People can give you all day the things and they can tell you what's going on and they can tell you what you need to do different. But if you just sit back and you're not doing the things and you're not putting in that hard work and hustle in the beginning, then it's for nothing, because nobody can do this for you. This is that hard work, right? I never go to my mentors like, hey, fix this for me. I'm always like, okay, here's what I got going on. I think it's this. I'm going to try these things. What do you think? And I don't give up. I have resilience like you would not believe. There's like, unless I'm in my deathbed, I have not given up on what I'm doing. I believe in it that much, right? And I will continue to share my message. I will continue to do the things. I will continue to simplify, and I will continue to focus on the power of one and building mastery. You better believe I have multiple mentors, because I need to be building up here. I need to be building my skill set. I need to be evolving and growing. I need to know what's coming up and going around me. I need to be in the room with the people. I'm not sitting here at my desk all by myself all day, every day in my own head, being like, oh my God, I don't know what I don't know, but I'm just going to keep doing this. Like, no way. I put my money where my mouth is, because I want what I say I want so badly. I'll do whatever it takes. But I know I'll win because I do the work. Always comes down to you. Okay. Now let's go on, because I want to do some Q&A. Let's go on to your next page where we talk about my signature profit launch. Now that is my methodology. I've been teaching this for years. I've been doing it for years. I still do it. I'm doing it right now. The signature profit launch. No worries, Karen. The signature profit launch is a launch methodology or system or framework that I teach. And it's how I love to do launches, because it works in my life and it produces the results. It just works really, really well. It's super delegatable. It's really scalable. It's a lot of fun. But I've also changed a lot of things over the years, because we've tried different things and times are changing a little bit. And so it's actually a little bit less effort than it used to be, which is really great. So I want to talk about this a little bit. In your workbook, you just fill these things out. So you have this. We're going to start just kind of setting some things. Okay, there's 3 phases to the signature profit launch that I teach in my program. I don't teach this, just for the record, in the Sell on Social program, because I don't think you need to be worrying about launching and doing all of that. I think we need to get high ticket sales in the door, so you get to 5 to 10K months and then we can launch. But in the Profitable Entrepreneur, this is probably the heart of the program almost, besides the social selling piece, the human connection. So the first phase of your launch is going to be your pre-launch. Then the second phase is your actual launch. And then the third phase is the post-launch. Okay. I want to go through each of these with you, but here's what I want you to do. Write those 3 launches down. So you have pre-launch, launch, post-launch. And in that little fill in the blank, I want you to fill in the blanks, all launch. Okay. I want you to fill this in. All launch phases are equally important. If you screw up on one of these areas or skip it or half-ass it, your launch is a flop. Guaranteed. Million times. We've tested this. We've tried our launches so many different other ways, and it just never produces. It's really designed beautifully. It really works well when you follow it to the T. Yeah, like Lisa said in the chat, Debbie kicked butt and always followed exactly what Ann teaches. 1,000%. Like that girl did not even veer off one thing. I don't know if I've ever had a client like that, but that's why she did $500,000 a year, moved to Mexico and hired a full-time team of like 7-8 people. That girl's still crushing it, following the same process. The reason is she literally followed everything I taught to the T. When she joined that program, that curriculum and those coaching sessions was her daily personal development. It was her business development. She used it like she was training to be an athlete. She used it like she was becoming a heart surgeon and she had to follow that manual. They never, ever, ever veered off and did anything else. I've never seen anyone follow such a process. And that paid off for her in about 8 months, $500,000 in 8 months. And I've had other clients do just as well. At the end of the day, that's really what it's about. If you're going to join a program, follow the process. I mean, you can not pay for something and go do what you're doing now. You don't need to pay to come in a program and just spin your wheels like you were before you came in the program. Follow the curriculum. You want to have your curriculum laid out for your clients to follow. That's why it's so critical. It's up to them to follow it, right? You'll put some things in place, but it's up to them. But at the end of the day, you got to have that curriculum. Okay, so all of these launch phases, equally important. There is not one that's more important than the other. They all really come together and they bring your launch full circle, AKA money in the bank, multiple 5-figure launch. Okay. All right, going on to page 3, let's talk about your sales system. I want you to actually write some of this out and set some dates for yourself, but I want you to understand, obviously I can't go into teaching the whole entire launch system, but this is the important stuff. With your pre-launch, so on page 3, with your pre-launch, this is before you're going live. This is before you're selling. Your pre-launch is what we call your launch runway. It is where you're going to spend 3 to 4 weeks filling your hub or your group or your registration list. It is the time and the runway. You're not doing anything else besides creating assets for your launch. You're building your registration list. Call it your hub, call it your group. I say hub because not everybody does it in a group, and I don't care how you do it, but you need no less than 300 registrants if you want to have a multiple 5-figure launch. If you want just one sale, then do less than 300. I promise you, we've tested it every which way. You need 300 registrants if you want to have a good launch. That's going to be worth the effort you're going to put into doing this because it's not easy, just like any strategy. Okay. So you're going to spend 3 to 4 weeks is the runway that we recommend. If you're doing any paid advertising at all, it's probably like 5 weeks because you want to start those suckers really early because those things take time, whatever, right? You don't need to do it. You can literally spend 3 to 4 weeks getting 300 people to register for your launch. Okay. Emails, number of email lists. You want to send, well, you're not going to send anything less than 5 to 7 during pre-launch. So if you have an email list, you're emailing them, inviting them to your workshop. You're not going to do less than 5 to 7. And I'm going to tell you, we probably email every single day, all 30 days of that pre-launch. I'm not going to lie to you. We email probably every day. We have the emails. We already have the stuff. It's tweak and resend. We're reusing at this point. If you're just starting out, you have to create it, right? You have to create it and test it and try different variations of what you're saying. If it's not working, like that's part of your job. Your job is testing content constantly and being like, okay, that didn't work. Let me try to say it this way. Let me do a short email. That long one didn't work. Let me try it with a picture. Let me try it without a picture. Let me try it with this in the title instead of this. Like that's your job. Your job is to go figure out what messaging resonates and lands with your audience. I can't do that for you, but you're going to send probably no less than 5 to 7 in that 30 days. And I would probably say, unless you have massive amounts of people opening and registering, I would up that a little bit. Okay. You can even do 1 a day. Your live launch dates. You're going to set this is the live launch where you're actually going live. You want to set these out. So basically you want to reverse engineer. You got to give yourself 30 days to build the list before you start going live. So look at when you want to do your live sessions, and then go back 30 days and give yourself those 30 days to grow the registration list. So let's say you're going to start growing your list today, and you're going to start getting people to register today. Your live launch probably would not happen until the first week of July, or the following on the 4th of July or something like that. I don't recommend doing 4th of July launch, but I'm giving you an example. You're going to do your live sessions 30 days out from the time. So you reverse engineer it. Okay. I also don't recommend launching in September, especially if you have moms in your audience, because they're getting kids ready for school and stuff. And trust me, sitting on Zoom with you or me or anybody is not on their radar right now. They're getting the kids ready for school. So September's never been really a good day. But you want to set your live dates. You're going to go live for probably 4 days teaching like I just did. And then you might have bonus sessions. That is optional. So you might have, like, we're doing a bonus session of a Q&A on Monday. We used to do like 5 sessions that were bonuses. We would teach for 5 days, and then we would have either on the weekend or Monday a bonus Q&A. And then we'd have 2 or 3 other video topics that were bonuses, all of this leading into the program. You don't have to do that. You can if you love it. I'm really good on video. It's what I love most. So I'm cool with doing lots of videos. But if you have videos you can repurpose, and you will as you follow the launch process, you can start bringing some of those in. And then you can call them bonuses, but you don't actually have to in real time be doing them. But you want to think about that. Okay. And then open cart date. This is day 4 or day 3 or day 4 of your workshop. So you teach for 3 days, and on the 4th day you go live, or you teach for 2 days and on the 3rd day you go live. Okay. If we're doing a 4-day launch, like where we're teaching for 4 days, we will open up invitations to apply to work with us on day 3. If we're doing a 5-day, we'll open it up on day 4. Okay. That is how it just works well that way, because it's giving people enough time with you where they can kind of they can self-identify if this is something that they're interested in, that they need. By this point, they have an idea. And then you also need to give time to sell after, for the people that haven't made a fast decision. You're not going to have all fast action takers. You're going to have some, and then you're going to have some that are going to be last second buyers. So you got to give the space and time. So day 3 or day 4, you will open up. I recommend, if you're doing 4 days of teaching, open it up on the 3rd day. You're going to close that cart. It is open 5 to 7 days. Now, if you do what we do, where all of my programs are open rolling, you can come join at any given moment if you apply and qualify, if you're approved. If you run your programs like that, you're closing your cart, but you're not like closing your program. It just means this workshop is over. We've had a great time together. We are now going to transition to going and serving our clients, and our lives is done. So when I say cart close, I'm just giving you an idea of 5 to 7 days after you open the cart. You're basically going to stop, like, your lives, your workshop's over. Your workshop is done. It's complete. And so it doesn't mean your sales stop. We'll talk about that in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of that. But basically, you're going to bonuses end, or any specials that you have going on, and the workshop comes to an end at that point. Okay. And then your program start date. I recommend it's between 1 and 2 weeks after you close up shop, because for 1 to 2 weeks, you need to celebrate. You need to get your new buyers, your new clients, into whatever onboarding process you're doing, or pre-work or enrollment, or whatever that looks like. But you also need to spend time following up, because there's a lot more sales that come after you close up shop. Everyone isn't going to buy when you open up the cart and during your workshop. Most of the sales come after. Here's where that social selling comes in, where most people don't do it. They're like, I give up, nobody bought. Like, if you don't follow up, what was the point of the launch to begin with, right? That doesn't make sense. So you want to leave time for that, but you also need to transition into taking a breath, celebrating, taking a little like space, time off before you dive in with your new clients. So have them get in the onboarding process, get them started. You go take some time off, have some follow-up happening. Okay. And I will say this, you don't typically get time off after a launch until you have team, right? Until you have some team to take over for you, it's you. But there is some just downtime and stuff like that. And then you got to set your dates to create your materials. I just say, spread your assets. So like workbooks, posts, emails, promotions, images, whatever you're doing, you want to do that in those first 30 days. You do not want to be doing this in the middle of your launch with everything else going on. Just get it done. You have those 30 days. You're growing the audience, you're creating the assets, and you're scheduling them out. Just get that done. And then that isn't something you really have to be thinking about. You can create real-time content if you want to. Also, like as it comes up and is inspired, but like have your assets created, your images for your profiles, like get all that stuff done during those 30 days. And I recommend scheduling a couple of days, like blocks of days, where that's all you're doing versus taking the whole 30 days to do it. Just block out a few days where it's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm creating all the images for this, or I'm creating all the stuff for this, right? And give yourself space. Make it feel like it's expansive versus crammed in. And all 30 days you're running around like a chicken with a head cut off creating content, right? Okay. That is your sales. Yeah, Lisa. Oh my gosh, I used to do the same thing. I'm like, it's crazy because then you're rushing. So it's like you don't get it all done. You don't do it all properly. Or you're like, oh, I don't really want to say that. I wanted to say this, but like, I was just rushing. So yeah, it's just give yourself, this is why we're like, give yourself 30 days to do this stuff, right? Like then you can enjoy the launch. Okay, let's go on to the next page. We're going to do Q&A because there's going to be questions, but let's go on to the next page. This is your actual launch. So you've built the registration, you've got the people registered, you've created your assets, they're going out, everything is happening, people are excited, you're excited, we're ready to go live. This is where you deliver your live training calls, right? So day 1 through 4 or day 1 through 5, with the third day being teaching plus transitioning to selling. So teaching and invitation on day 3 going forward. So day 1, day 2, you're not selling anything. We're building trust, we're teaching, we're having fun, we're doing what we're doing. Day 3, we transition, we're still teaching, but now we're also going to extend some invitations for the fast action takers that are like, this is great, but like, I'm ready to go, right? There's going to be people that are ready to do that. So you want to be going live with those. This is what you're doing in live launch. You also are making sure that there's daily homework threads and people are using them. They're not always going to, and that's totally fine, as long as you're communicating with people in your launch, right? Like make sure you're sending DMs or text messages if they opted in, make sure emails are going out, make sure that as many people in your launch as humanly possible see day 3. Day 3 is where you extend the invitation to work with you. It's probably the day you do your best at selling the offer, right? Because it's like, oh my God, I'm excited. I have some news for you. And you sell, you invite. So you want to make sure that as many people that are in and registered for your launch, that they see that video, because it can do 90% of the selling for you. Okay. If you're like, hey, do you want to buy my program? And they're like, what program? That's probably not good, right? Because they didn't see your third day video. So just make sure, hey, did you get the replay? So you're focused during live launch. As soon as you open the cart, you're selling and you're posting and selling. But when you get in with your registration list, hey, did you catch day 3? Hey, how you doing on the replays? Hey, where are you at on the replays? Which replays do you need? So be careful with the selling. Sometimes we get excited and we want to skip to the sales. It's like promote on your video, promote on your social and your email, but privately get in DMs or send emails and follow up with registrants. Push the replays. Push the replays. That's where most of your people are going to be anyway. 90% of your registration list is going to watch replays. So push the replays, okay? Now, you can do different things during your launch. You can have implementation sessions. We used to do that. We used to go live in my group or on Zoom and stream into the group. And then that night, later that night, we do what I called an implementation session where we get on Zoom. And it was like, what were your 3 takeaways from today's session? And what were your 3 questions? And we would do that. I will tell you that probably increased sales and conversions in our launches because it was so intimate. You don't have to do that. It is an option. You want to make sure you're maintaining social selling every single day during your launch, from pre-launch all the way through to the end of post-launch. Most entrepreneurs do social selling to get people registered, and then they stop. And then they do it again when they're like, did you see my offer? Did you see my offer? And then they stop. You're not going to get the sales. All the way from the beginning to the very end, you should be DMing, tagging, engaging on their stuff, emailing them, every registrant, like they are your best friends. And then what you're doing is you're building a list in a spreadsheet or in your CRM system that says, these are my hot people. These are my warm and these are the cold. So that when you look at your registration of 300 or more people, you know exactly who's buying. You know who your buyers are. You know who's qualified. You know who's like, maybe, I'm not quite sure yet. And you know the people that are like, where are they? Where are they? They registered, but I can't find them. They're not engaging. They're not showing up. Those are not people that you're going to spend all day. Hey, right? Because they're not really engaging. You want to know who those really hot people are. That's 99% of your focus. And you're not going to know that if you don't have them listed out. You won't remember that up here through DMs and stuff like that. Get that up here. If you have team, have them looking. Who's the most responsive in the groups? Who's on every Zoom session or live session? Who's commenting and asking questions and doing the things the most? And you're creating that list. This is how you're going to maximize your sales. On day 4, remember, or day 3, we transition to teaching and selling. And then you can have bonuses. You can do an after party. You can do bonus sessions. We have a whole list of like sales maximizers is what we call it, that we give our clients, where it's like all of these things have upped our sales or maximized our sales every time we've launched, that are extra things you could do. So there's all kinds of ways to boost your sales. Okay. That's launch. Now you're post-launch. Let's go on to page 5. I think we're on. Post-launch. This is where you are blocking out those 1 to 2 weeks we talked about. If you have a team, you're taking vacation. If you don't have a team, you're social selling. This is where you reach out to every single person that registered for your workshop. And you are finding out feedback, data. Where are they at? Why didn't they buy? What questions do they have? Do they need something? What's going on? You just don't want loose ends. You just kind of want to know where everybody is at, right? So you're reaching out personally, voice memos, text messages, DMs, personal private emails, hitting them up in their stories, commenting on their stuff. You're getting their attention. Guys, if you're going to do all the work to get these registrants, do the work to finish it off. Don't worry about, oh my God, I didn't get all the sales. Let me go find more leads. No, you have those people right there. Get in conversation and find out what's going on, right? I'm going to tell you, most of our sales come after our launch. Almost all of them are like way after. They're not even like during the launch, but they're people from the launch. So that's the thing. So don't get frustrated, stressed out, make a story about it. Everything doesn't need to mean everything, right? Just keep going. Follow the process. We have it laid out for you beautifully. Just follow it to a T. Okay. And then you want to maximize your launch and push for final sales with things like social selling, tagging, voice memos, DMing, sending direct messages, sending personal private emails with voices or videos. Yes, you're going to go above and beyond. And that's how you're going to get the most sales out of your launch. And you don't always have to do that. Okay. But you're going to go all out because you want to get every ounce of goodness out of the hard effort you just put in and the hard work you just did. Okay. And then you're going to do an end of launch evaluation. This is what we call it. We have a whole process on this. End of launch evaluation is we're going to follow my template. You or your team, or you and your team and myself or whoever, you want to do an end of launch evaluation where you're coming together and you have all your data, you have all your information from your launch, all the way from beginning to end, and we debrief together. We do an end of launch evaluation. Now, we can't do these if you half-ass this or you don't do the things, right? Then there is no evaluation to do. You didn't do the things. But you have to do all the things, and then we can do an evaluation, and we can say, let's look at all the data. Let's look at all the things from start to finish. Where are we improving? Where are we removing and eliminating? Where are we adding? Where are we doing some things different next time? And basically we look at, is there any way to maximize any more sales from this launch? And what do we need to do different next time? You do that at the end of every single launch you do, because you want to improve and get better every time. And then we have celebration. Celebration, again, you can celebrate if you don't have a team. You're probably just not going to take a 1 to 2 week vacation because you have clients ready to go. But once you have 1 or 2 people to help you out and you have a really good process for onboarding and getting clients started, you'll probably take 1 to 2 weeks off to celebrate, to recoup, re-energize yourself, revigorate yourself, and like come back really powerful for your clients, right? And you need to prep for your next launch, which should already be on your calendar. We have our launches on our calendar at the beginning of the year for the whole year. So we know like the months that we're going to launch. We don't always know the days, but we always know the months. Like these are our launch months. Like I know my next one's August, right? I don't have the date. We might push it up a little bit. We don't know, but it's in the calendar for August. And then our next one is October. We're not going to do September because of school. It's going to be October, and we'll kick off at the end of the year with another one. So we know our launch cycles. You want a minimum of 5 of these on your calendar, okay? You want a minimum every year of 5 of these. Same workshop, same program, same process over and over. I'm going to promise you, if you do it, by the end of the year, you're at least going to be to $250,000. You're going to have an awesome freaking program that you're mastering. You're going to have your launch down and probably 2 team members. But you just got to follow the process. You just got to follow the process. You got to do the thing all the way through. It's the hardest part. But that's why you need accountability, you need mentorship, you need guidance, and you need a community that's doing this with you. So you guys can share what's working and what's not, and what each person is doing. That's like, hey, try this. It works really well. Or just people to rally behind you versus you all by yourself with nothing. And you're just like, right? Because launch, you need good high energy. We have a self-care packet. It's a pre-launch, or it's a launch, profitable launch self-care packet. It's basically like a couple PDFs. And it literally is like, this is your self-care that you need to do before and during and after your launch. We want you doing all of this. And when we get on coaching sessions and when you and I communicate, I'm going to ask you if you're doing these things. Because if you're not taking care of yourself and you're getting all up in your head and crazy and all this stuff, your launch is going to suck. And it's not the strategy. It's here, right? So we have like a whole checklist in the program for this. Okay, we're going to wrap up with metrics that matter in your business. I'm going to give you some metrics. And then I want to do Q&A, but I also want each of you to decide on the 5 months that you're going to do your launch. You don't need to pick your days, but I want you to pick up the 5 months out of the rest of this year that you're going to do a live launch. Okay? All right. Let's talk about the metrics. Number 1. 10 to 20 new leads entering your ecosystem daily. 10 to 20 new leads daily. Not weekly, not every other week, once a month, every single day. First thing you do when you wake up and you start working in your business, hopefully after your self-care routine, when you start working, you think and ask yourself, here's what I tell my clients, ask yourself, what are the 3 things I can do today to add 20 people to my ecosystem? Go do those 3 things. It can be different every day. Doesn't matter, make it fun. But at the end of the day, we don't end our day until we've done this. Okay? Number 2, 100 to 200 outbound direct messages per day. I know, it's like you guys your head wants to explode, right? You're not going to start here. You have to do increments or the algorithm will put you in jail. You need to start where you're at. What is your average DMs a day? 5, 0, 10. Play with that. And every 48 hours, go up by 5 or 10. See why it's important to give yourself 30 days? Because you have to look at your normal rhythm. And you got to inch your way so that Facebook doesn't put you in jail, or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever you're using. Okay. So even if you are getting registrants, even if your email list is like opening and clicking, you're not going to stop doing DMs. We want 100 to 200 outbound DMs. Now you can do 100. You could do 100 on Facebook a day. You could do 100 on Instagram a day. You could do 50 over on LinkedIn a day. I don't care how you do it. You can do this any way you want. Okay. You can ask 5 of your most biggest fans, favorite people to each bring you one person. I don't care how you do it. That's why I said every day when you wake up, it's like, okay, how am I doing this? I just want you getting your DMs out, but start where you're at. If you're someone that doesn't DM or very, very little, start with like 10 or 15 a day. Okay. And then every 24 to 48, and do that every day, and then spread it out a little bit so you don't get in trouble. And then every 24 to 48 hours, go up by 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever. Once you do like 50 a day, 75 a day for a few days, really consistently, and you spread it out and your messages are a little bit different and personalized, Facebook will pick that up and you could go from 35 to 100 and be fine. We went from 50 a day to 75 a day to 100 a day to 175 a day to 200 a day. And because we spread it out, and because we were, we had a few different variations of messaging, and we didn't try to do it all in the first half hour of the day, and we kind of spread it out, and we gradually every 48 hours kind of inched it up because of that. And because we did like every 2 to 5 minutes, we'd send a message. But because we were strategic like that, we just didn't get blocked. We did okay with that. Now, we did try to go over 200 and we got blocked. So I think 200 is the max. I don't know. But either way, we're good at 200 a day. So you're getting these DMs out. Use multiple platforms if you want to. I don't care how you do it. Every day, just ask yourself, okay? Like, what are these ways I can do this today? Number 3, you also want to have 100 to 200 friend requests going out. This could include accepted friend requests. You just need to be like adding people, new people. You're going to have 10 to 20 new leads coming in per day, but to get those 10 to 20, you're going to probably need to send some friend requests. You're going to need to accept some friend requests. You're going to have to go find these leads, right? And start sending invitations. Do this on Facebook and Instagram. So you could do 50 on Facebook, 50 on Instagram, and 50 on LinkedIn. You could, again, do this however. People on your email list, they might not be connected with you on social media. So get them to come and connect with you on social media and build up your friend's profile. You could have 5,000 people. Build qualified champion leads as those 5,000 people, and go ahead and do 2.5 to 5% of 5,000 people, because that's what will convert. So that's awesome, awesome numbers. And a lot of people are not using that. Number 4, 300 people registered for any launch and workshop that you do, period. Anything less, you might get 1 sale, maybe 2, if you're lucky. So keep that in mind. We can't change that for you. That's not even a strategy. That's math. It's proven. It just is what it is. If you want 6 or 7 or more sales, 2 ways to do it. Get no less than 300 people registered. Follow what we're talking about with nurturing them and building that relationship. And then number three is get better at selling and communicating. When you do that, your sales conversions go up. So for example, if we launch to 300 people, I'll close 10 sales minimum, where some of my clients only close 2. But as they do their launch cycles and sell all the time, and they start showing up on live video, and they start actually being part of their business, and they effectively communicate, their conversions go up, and they notice they start converting more and more, even if they have the same amount of people. That's the thing with delegating and building a team. If you aren't good at your own business and your own craft, and if you can't even talk about what you do, how can somebody else do that for you? It starts with you. Business isn't easy. You don't get a free pass, right? We don't get free passes. We have to do this work. All right, number 5. You want to do 5 to 7 DMs back and forth conversations per day. So you want to have every day when you wake up 5 to 7 DM conversations where they're actually conversating back. It's one thing to send the DMs, but we need to get those people communicating back to us. So that's follow up. It's nudging them. It's commenting on their Instagrams, which pulls them in the DMs with you, right? Like you got to get creative. Everyone is not going to answer you. So the goal is hit the numbers every day and you'll have overflow. It'll start to stack up for you. If you're doing less than these numbers, then just expect less results. It's just what it is. So we want to have 5 to 7 conversations across your platforms happening. And you can include email. We have a couple of examples in our programs of like quick emails that you can send out. Awesome, Lisa. You can send these quick emails right out and people will reply back to you and you start conversations. I have my clients do this all the time. You should do it every week. But if you're doing that, that's another way to get these conversations going. Okay. Number 6, 1 sale a day. It's not going to happen right away. It isn't. It took years to work up to this. But when you're doing all of this and then you're hiring a team to come in and help you, a sale a day can absolutely exist. It can happen. It comes in different ways from different sources, different things, but a sale can happen every day. You just want to aim for at least a couple of sales per week to begin with. Number 7, you can expect 2.5 to 5% of your audience to buy on average. Again, you can get that to 8 and 10% if you build your skills better and stronger around selling. And selling is not like, check out my program, buy my program. It is you effectively communicating your program, the solution that you offer, the transformation you provide, why people should care. If you don't know how to talk about that, you're not going to sell. And nobody can do that for you. You're your business. You have to sell. So a big part of what we do in my programs is we talk a lot about human behavior sales, techniques and strategies. And we're constantly talking about how you need to get clear and niche down and stay consistent about your talk. Because if you're switching it up all the time, that's why you're not good at communicating it. It's different every week. That's your job as a business owner. You started a business, so it should be very easy to talk about what you do because that's why you started a business. This is not a difficult thing. It's that you probably are saturated with like, I started my business and this is my specialty, but it's not working. So I'm going to do a million other things. And it's just, that's not really the solution, right? Your sales conversions will increase and you will get better when you build the skill and you take the time to get better at selling. I'm going to tell you right now, I invest hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in my sales skill set and making sure I am always amazing at it and getting better and getting better and getting better. And I have all kinds of improvement 20 years into my business to make. This is not something you're like, boom, I'm a genius at it. Don't need to practice. This is something you're doing every day. You're getting better and better and clearer and more aligned and more aligned. And it never, ever stops. This is a long-term journey. You got to be in for the long haul, right? Okay. What do we have for questions? Do we have any questions? Yeah, Yvonne, self-care is essential. It really is. I can tell you right now, when I look back at launches that didn't go well, and I look at my energy and I look at my focus and I look at like my effort and I just look at where I was like internally, no wonder it reeked in everything I did. And I just wasn't on my game, right? So when you know you have a launch coming up, turn that dial up, take care of yourself, get excited. You better be excited about whatever you're doing. Like if you come to the room like this, yeah, hey, everybody, like you're not generating sales. Or if you just lean on, let me pitch, let me write a post, you're not getting sales that way. Like what, 1 out of every 300 posts? Like it's not going to happen. You get people in a room, wake up, be excited, have your talk down, know what you're doing, be consistent, follow it through all the way. I don't care if nobody buys, you follow it through all the way. Do you know how many people we turn away and have a launch where it's like, we didn't bring any new people into the program because we didn't qualify anybody. That's okay. We're all right with that. We have other offers or we have other launches coming up. One thing is not your end all be all, right? Like one activity or launch or strategy that you do is not the end of your life. If it doesn't work, there's a million other things, an opportunity and other things you can be doing. And what we need to do is expand the mind with like, stop thinking that everything has to be made up a story, right? We got to make something mean everything. Oh, I didn't sell this way, so I suck. Could it just be that that's just what's going on right now? And maybe next time, like chill, right? We have other opportunities and things to do. Like one thing is not your end all be all, and it doesn't dictate anything going forward. Like I said, we've had launches that flopped. If we would have stopped right there, well, then I wouldn't be in business today. We kept going and launches were fine. It's like at the end of the day, you might send emails and you might be like, God, no one's buying from the emails. Well, it might not have anything to do with you. It might, but like you can figure it out and try something out. Like you have to be resilient and you need to be creative and you need to be a self-thinker. You need to be getting creative and thinking about, well, I'm a business owner, CEO of my desk. I want my message out there. So I want to hit these goals. What else can I do? What could I do differently? Let me go back and look at those emails I sent. Yeah, they're crapshoot. No wonder nobody purchased. Could that be? Maybe. Or, oh, wow, it was, 2 people opened out of like 2,000. That's really bad. So maybe I just need to change the title and get more people to open it. Oh, you know what? I don't build relationships. Nobody even knows me. I've never talked to anybody. I don't know anything about the people in my audience. Maybe that's why. Maybe I should spend some time doing that. You need to be looking at what you're doing in your business. And you need to understand that just because we're on social media doesn't mean we just pitch people to death and that we don't need to build relationships. I feel really like at the end of the day, if you don't leverage human connection and social selling, your business isn't going to survive. Your business won't be here in 2023 and beyond. People crave it more than anything. And if you are not taking the time to build those relationships, get a system down so you can later delegate it out. But for now, it's you. Get that down or your business is not going to survive. People are not buying just from emails and posts today. You could get a sale, probably one every few handfuls of emails or posts, like maybe one sale, maybe one interest, but that's not how people are buying. People are buying by being in the room and building no like and trust and relationship with you, and they hear you and they see you and they get to ask their questions and it's interactive and fun. That's how millionaires are making millions right now, right? And that's how we've always made millions. That's not changing. That's never changing. So if you're going to continue running business, this needs to be top priority, and you need to up the dial. You need to build your sales skill set and your other skill sets in any area you are not doing that well in. I have a list of areas that I'm constantly looking at, adding to, taking off, improving, whatever, that are like, these are the things. I'm not that good at this, or I'm struggling with this, or you know what? I really need some help with this. And I either get a system, a person, or a mentor to help me. Or I invest in furthering my knowledge around that so I can get better at it. I don't just sit here and be like, well, what other strategy could I do because I suck at sales? Or what other thing could I do? I don't want to talk to people. You're in the wrong business, right? You need to figure that out. So that's part of your job. Do we have questions? Does anyone have questions? We covered a lot today.
I have one really quick one.
Yes.
Rule of thumb for number of registrants that you have, what percentage typically shows up? Because I'm thinking about how I structure the interactivity of whether I do it kind of during the challenge of the workshop or wait and do questions at the end.
Yes. So on average, and it's really different for everybody, depending on how qualified that list is. And I really want you guys to, this is a good question. I want you guys, you're going to put in this hard work. Do your best to get the right people, really speak to the right people and have them do some like answer a form or some questions that give you the things that say this is a good list. Because even if you get the 300 and they're all the wrong people, everything on the other side is probably going to be low. So what we have seen kind of on average when we got like 50 or like 60 to 75, 80% of the right people registered, it can be about 50-50. 50% will show up for the first couple days, and then it goes down to like 30%, sometimes 20. And then it's like 50% though, catch replays, if not like 70%. So if you look at it all in all, you have over half of the people, you probably have more like 70% of your registrants that are tuning in one way or another. The other thing that we've noticed too, is it really depends on like your titles of things. We've noticed like every time we run our launches, there's topics that get more interaction where it's like, oh, we haven't seen you this whole workshop, but here you are today. So again, too, when you're running your workshops and your launches, it's looking at what are the sessions that get the most engagement and the most show up rate. Like, why is that? And I will tell you that what we have found is usually it's tactic. People love when you're teaching like a strategy, like something sexy. Because they want you to give them what they want, you'll sell them what they need, right? But so for me, it's like probably the replays that get the most, the interaction when we email or post or go live that gets the most is when we are talking about grow your audience with this many leads, launch, here's your launch timeline, let's create your launch roadmap. When we're given like tactic and strategy versus teaching you like a skill or a mindset thing, those tend to get a little bit less views. So it's also looking at that in your workshop as well. So even if you're going to teach something that you feel is like, it's not really a sexy tactic or strategy type thing, maybe it's like, we're going to talk about this, but in this, and maybe it's tying some of that in where it kind of pulls those people. So I would say all in all, if you have a really good, healthy list of people, like the right people, you can probably expect that like up to 60 to 75% of that registration in one way or another, they will show up, whether it is on a live or it's catching a replay, or it might even be later in the game where they're like, oh, hey, I just got here. I've missed the whole thing. Is that replay page still available? Or can I catch those replays? We get a good like 15% or so that like a week after or days after we're done, they're just now responding with like, oh my God, I missed everything. Are those replays still available?
So they never even hit and did like an abandoned cart. They're just getting we noticed you didn't show up for the event you signed up for type email.
Yeah. Because what you want to do, you put so much effort in those live sessions. You want to push those replays as much as you can. If we have people that come in 1 or 2 weeks after and they're like, oh my God, I missed the whole thing. And that sucks. Like, we will be like, let me send you the page. And also let's block out in your calendar when you think you could get them done, because I can't like leave this open-ended, and we'll literally have them block that out. And so we really push those replays a lot and heavy towards the end, especially when there's like a timeline that they're going away. And you will get some more that never participate show up for that. People love the replays because they can kind of do it, in their own
timetable. Yeah.
And then if we have people that are clicking, like for example, we don't have a sales page, right? Well, we have sales pages, but we're not selling with a sales page right now. We're just pushing applications. And so people that are clicking on the application, but they're not filling it out, we will have something that says, hey, notice that you hit the page. Like, we will have those things set up automatically. Mm-hmm. So like those things are happening. But for the most part, we're like, get to the live sessions, and then we push those replays to try to maximize things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Great. And what I recommend is like, this is why we do a launch debrief, because once we have all the data, especially as you do more and more of these, we start to see patterns, and we can really almost predict how your launches are going to go, how many sales you're going to get, exactly who the types of people are that do that. So you can pin them right away. Like, all that gets easier when you consistently follow the process. And so then you can say, hey, we know that when we do our launch, we have this amount of sales that will come from those amount of people. And we know exactly when in our launch cycle that those big bulk of sales happen. Like, you learn that, like, we know most of our sales don't happen during our launch. We know that they come after. When we start following up, we get the replays out there, we start connecting with people. People see things like, we know that. We also know that the majority of our lists catch replays more than anything. And so knowing that, it allows us to kind of work with that every time we launch, and we don't get freaked out in the actual launch when we don't see a whole ton of people buying, because we already know it's our normal, right? Because it happens every time. But you got to run some launch cycles to see what it looks like for you. It could be different.
And then you're backtracking on your sales of like your demographics and your psychographics. So you get the targeting even more dialed in.
Yeah. So you're looking at like fast action takers. Okay. Who were those people? Where did they come from? And you could just ask them too. We do a little bit of survey after everything is said and done of like, how did you hear about the workshop? Where did you kind of come from? Like we try to get that data, and we're looking at where do people come from and like, who are they? And then the people that bought and the people that bought fast, like what were the differences between them? And this is what helps. And then also, what were the sexiest topics, the things that people showed up to the most, right? And loved the most. Like we bring all that together in a launch debrief so that we can say, hey, you know what, going forward, you might want to lead with this right here. And you might want to pivot it this way so it really speaks to this person over here who took those good, fast actions. And then you also see about the people that are like, a lot of objections, a lot of like negative mindset, lack mindset. Oh, I can't do this. I can't. Like, where did they come from? And what were those qualities? And like, what kind of things, topics brought them in? Let's not do that. So the more launch cycles, that's why we say you're going to do a minimum of 5 cycles every year, probably more like 6 or 8. And the reason is because you got to get this stuff down, and the faster we can do it, the better, because then the better your launches get and the more they convert, because you really start to dial all this stuff in. You think about it, like before we do that and become masterful at it, we really don't know. It's like throwing spaghetti all over the place, right? And that's why launches aren't, or any strategy that we might be doing is not converting well, because it's like we're learning. Right? That's part of it. Think about when you learn to ride a bike, how many times you fall before you pick it up and you're like, I got it. Now I know how to balance. I know, like, I can feel where I'm going. Like a baby, how many times do, they crawl before they walk? And then how much do they fall up and downstairs and all over the place before they learn how to walk, right? Everything is a learned skill. And so same thing with launching in your business or selling or strategy. It's like you have to do it 10,000 hours before this skill is masterful for you. Before you are masterful at anything, you're going to spend 10,000 hours doing it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And the more we do that repetition, just the better we get, because you learn these patterns and these things, and you get better at messaging, you get better at selling, you get better at like, hey, we know that our videos can be 20 minutes and we can skim through and touch these things right here, and everyone, it's gold for everybody. In the beginning, you might have it all a little wonky, right? While you figure it out. And that's part of it. But when it's wonky, you'll generate sales. It's just not going to be where you want it to be. Mm-hmm. That's why we're like, it's okay. We're going to do another launch in a couple months. It's okay. We could do some social selling after. We can get some feedback. We could do a launch debrief. Don't freak out. Everything's going to be fine. And we keep going. And then each time it's just like, oh, okay, this went a little better and I'm getting clearer. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have to even test like which of the, primary coaches, we put in what role for the
Exactly.
challenges and such.
And that's the whole other thing is once you bring on team, it's proper placement with team. It's coordinating who's the best at what and how do we handle that and what do we say and what worked and what didn't. Now it's like going from just evaluating yourself in your launch to evaluating yourself and your team and how that worked and all of that. And that is why it's like, just know that this is the long game. You'll make money in between, but for the next few years, you're mastering this process with you and then with team and then without you and all the things. So it is a long game process. Very, very profitable though. It's a stacked revenue type of process. Yeah. Good question. That was really good. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a quick one.
Hi.
In fact,
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
That last point you all made is like my life right now, because that's the pivot I had to take, where I brought a couple people in and I thought I was just going to have them focus like on the appointment setting element.
Yeah.
And it was a flop, but I know that they have other skills that are stronger. And so the others that came in after them that are working on appointment setting are like superstars. So it was me realizing that it's always going to be this continual growth process. And just because I didn't have it right on this day doesn't mean that I throw it out the window.
100%.
I just gotta I guess maximize it. You keep learning. I love that. The question I had was,
100%.
I noticed it almost feels like your launch cycle is like in every other month, which is brilliant, because then you're pacing your energy and your team and yourself.
Yeah.
what effect does that have on your social presence from the standpoint of, because I think it was the metric number 2.
Yeah.
No, number 3, where you're sending out 1 to 200 friend requests daily. Do you go back in and do a cleanup or attrition to prep for the next round? Because you just
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Got it.
we teach a lot of different launch types of things. So like, yeah, we want you doing like regular launch cycles of live, the signature profit launch, but we also don't want to be launch dependent. So we really play on the audience. The bigger your audience gets and the more engaged and the more bought into your brand, the more they love your live launches because they're looking forward to that. The other thing is sometimes we do like a pop-up launch where it's like, we're going to take it out of our main group. We're going to do it over here in a pop-up group so we can give our main audience a break, or anyone that doesn't want to be seeing this, they don't have to. So there are elements and different things that we do and teach where it's like, let's give these people a break. We can't like launch them to death. Let's give them a break and let's do some more private stuff or behind the scene. Like sometimes we'll go back and what we'll do is we'll do an after party in a pop-up group where it's like, we will take every person that's ever registered for any of our launches and we'll invite them to come get caught up or come catch up on what you missed in a private group. So our main group doesn't even know it's happening. Our main email list doesn't even know. It's just the past registrants. So there's different things. The other thing is we also have to be building sales systems outside of launch.
Right.
So like I teach sales on demand cash injections for the past 8 years. Those are different. That's not a live launch. I also teach promo cycle launching. That's not a live launch. And then social selling, which is not a live launch. So there's elements that team will be doing daily.
Right.
There's elements we'll be doing every other month or every couple of months, which is usually the signature profit live launch. And then there's elements where it's like we do 1 or 2 week little sprints of promo cycles, which is not live launch. And so when we're doing all of this, it's not like, oh my God, you guys launch every day. And we are cleaning people out. We are cleaning our email list. We are segmenting our email list with a lot of tags and a lot of different things to make sure it's not like, hey, everybody, all the time.
Right.
We segment the email list. Our Facebook profile, we create like different categories for people. Friends go in the friends, family go in the family, hot leads go in a hot lead. Like you can categorize and move people there. So when you put a post out, it only shows to certain people. These are just little different techniques you can do to really just segment. Same thing with our profile in our Facebook group or any of our platforms. It's like, we are unfriending, we're unfollowing, we're doing different things like that, where it's like, these people don't want to hear this, or they're not a fit. Every time you do any sort of activities, you kind of learn more about the people. Same thing with social selling. You end up building a list of people that's like, they don't actually belong here. So what do we do with those people, right? And we clean it out so algorithm can stay fresh. For us, it's all about quality over quantity. Yes, these numbers matter, but quality is so much more important. And so, yeah, we are always filtering, cleaning up, segmenting, separating, doing things in different places in different ways to certain people. So there's a lot of variations, but it's a simple process and we just decide which ones we want to do when. And it's a nice organized process.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I know you mentioned yesterday that there's a feature where you're going to do the 2 week cash injection. And I think it's good because not only do you keep it fresh, but then you don't get bored, like you can keep your passion up.
Correct.
And then the last thing I was going to say, this is more of an observation. I think it's awesome. It took me till yesterday, day 3, to catch on that not only are you teaching this, but you're teaching in a larger way by leading by example.
Yep.
So everything you're saying, you're doing it. And so it's like, if I'm really paying attention, I'm catching, oh my God, these aren't just words, like this is living.
It is so funny. Yeah, it is. Thank you. It is funny because we do what we teach, right? We model what we teach. So I tell my audience all the time and my clients, it's like, don't even listen to what I'm telling you if you don't want to, just pay attention, right? Just watch like we're doing. And I think that is important with leadership. I think it's important that you're doing the things that you're asking of your audience and telling. And that doesn't mean that you don't evolve. Like, for example, I don't do sales calls anymore. But for the first 10, 12 years of my business, that's all I did. I'm a sales coach. That's my specialty. I can absolutely teach you how to convert better on a sales call, and get better people, high quality leads to them. So that might be an example of something. It's like, I don't do that anymore, but I have a whole decade's experience of doing it. And in fact, I've had multimillionaires hire me to do their sales. Gina DeVee, David Nagel, Kim Luna, Kelly Roach. I can name a whole bunch of people where I've worked behind their companies doing things. It's like, that is the knowledge I can bring, but I don't do them myself. The other cool thing too, with everything I teach, 90% of it can be given away once you get it down. So when you think about launch cycles, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna be so tired. And it's like, well, not really, because a lot of it, you're not going to be the person doing after a while. After like 2 or 3 launches, you're not even doing these things anymore. The ideal business for most leaders and influencers is that you're showing up and going live, and you are doing strategic partnerships, like getting on podcasts, putting people on your podcast, like collaborating and doing different things with leaders. And that's part of your organic strategy. And you're driving the vision and you're leading your team. So you're the visionary, the leader, the live face on some things, not everything. And then you have people doing the rest. And so it's one of those things too, where it's, you start to engineer the celebrity of your team as well. And so people, they love you. And when they see you, it's like cherry on top, but they're connecting with your team. They're building relationships with your team. They really appreciate your team, and they look at them as trusted advisors. So that's a big part of what we teach in our higher level programs too, is like, if you want a business that's really profitable, and it doesn't mean you're out of it, but you really only have to do the part you shine at and the part you do the best at. And then you have team that do the rest. It's like, that's that sweet spot. It doesn't come overnight, but that's the ultimate goal. And the other thing with that is like, you don't want to be the star of the show. You don't want to be the person everybody's coming to all the time. And you don't want to be the person with all the answers. You want to have diversity. You want to bring other talent and humans in to help serve your clients, to help deliver your audience, to nurture your audience, to grow your audience. For example, I don't do lead generation. We do lead generation. I don't do lead gen. Those 200 messages a day are not being done by me. I do some personal outreach, but I'm just saying in general, each day, this is not dependent on me. I can't, right? But I have people doing it. It's being done. And then when it comes to, different programs that we have different success coaches, and we have different experts who come in and they lead on certain things where it's like, yeah, I know enough of it, but that's not my thing. And like, I have other things to do. So it's like, that's what I want you guys thinking, is like, in about a year to maybe 14 months, you can pretty much be at that point, following our systems and process. Within 12 to 14 months, if you just follow everything, it's laid out, you could probably be at the point where you're doing at least 500,000, but you're not profiting 500,000 because you're building the team, you're setting up the systems, you're getting those things in place, and you're starting to step out of quite a bit of things at that point. Even in your 3rd or 4th launch cycle, we probably have you bring about 1 or 2 people, an admin, a VA admin, and a social seller, depending on where you're at. Sometimes it's a lead generator and a VA and admin, and you're doing the social selling. At some point, you want someone that can do the sales for you, or maybe you don't want to do sales calls. You want to have a qualification and application process, and then you may or may not have a seller on the team. It just depends on your vision and what you want and how you do things. But the point is that you're basically the visionary, the leader. You go live, you're the face, and you're out collaborating to drive that brand recognition while your team is actually running the business. They're doing the things. And ideally, that's just to scale. Really, honestly, you're going to have that. You could get to $250,000 by yourself. You're working hard. You're working really, really hard at that point. That's a lot. You could get to 100,000 easy by yourself, probably even 150,000 by yourself, easy. But once you start getting to about 200,000, 250, you're probably hustling and grinding to maintain that, and it's rough. To get beyond that, it's going to take some different things.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's all amazing. Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. And just a caveat too on the team thing, because this is a huge part of my skill set too. When you're building a team, it's like your team wants to grow with you and evolve, and they want to have opportunity. And it's about proper placement with them as well. You might bring somebody in. I brought my social seller in as a social seller, community manager. She was doing the DMing. She was doing the Facebook group community, handling all the DMs, getting people registered. Like, she handled community management, social selling. Then she just learned all my stuff so well over the time that she started doing the sales. So then she did all the sales. She did the qualifying, she did the selling, she got people in the program, and then we took it over from there. And then from there, she actually started coaching in my programs around what she was doing so well, around the social selling, around the lead gen, around the closing. She actually holds a whole session every week on that, right? So she did that for a while. And then she moved into some other things. But you want to be like really leading your team and like create an opportunity where they can earn more money with you, they can earn commission with you. Like for her, she was generating her salary, but then she was getting commissions on top of every sale she was making. And so she didn't have a capped income with me. She didn't have to have a whole bunch of other clients. She could really just work for us. So again, you just want to like really be looking ahead at like people, team don't leave companies, they leave leaders.
Absolutely.
They'll go to another company just like yours, different leader, right? So it's just really looking at like, we want everyone to know, like, you have opportunity here. This is what we want. What is your vision? What do you want to see here? Like, tell me what you want. What is your lifestyle? What are your goals outside of my company? And then it's really just paying attention to like their skills and like where they could be up leveled or promoted or advanced, and like allowing that, right? So a lot of people, and I also like to give people separate roles. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm going to hire a VA to do social selling. A VA is not a social seller. They don't even have those skills.
Right.
A VA cannot do your social selling. Some people will be like, oh, I'm going to hire this person to do lead generation. And it's like, that person's not a lead generator. That's a full-time job. Or if you're hiring someone to do sales for you, that's not necessarily a social seller 100%. That person needs to know how to sell your stuff just almost as good as you. And they're not going to be as good as you. So it's going to probably take 90 days or more before they're actually closing at a pretty decent. So there's just these things that it's like proper placement. You got to put the right people. Some people do like to take one job title and be like, do my lead gen, do my marketing, do my sales, do my community management. It's like, that's probably not going to work. I like to separate it where you have prospectors who are doing like lead gen, you have people that are doing qualifying, you have people that are doing the sales, you have your admin that's doing your tech and your VA and the behind, like give people the proper things so they can thrive and so that they love what they're doing and they don't feel burnt out and stretched out, right?
Agreed. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. These are beautiful conversations. And, when you're building a group coaching program like this for the long term, this is the part that's so beautiful about it. It's easy to build a team that's going to stay with you for years and years because it's easy for them to come in and understand what you do and know how to sell and know how to do all the different facets. If you're someone who's bringing on a team, but every other week you're like, hey, we're selling this now. Hey, we're doing this now. Oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to do this new strategy. Oh, hey, by the way, instead of 100 leads a day, we need like 500. Or hey, and if you're someone who's doing that, they're out. They are out. And so it's harder to keep solid team, and it's harder for them to thrive and feel successful and really bought in to your mission when there is no mission. It's every other day, every other week is something different. What my team loves about what I do is it's the same thing all the time. It's predictable. They know that it's coming. They know when it's coming. Everyone has their role. Everyone knows how things need to be done. Everything is structured. There is a freedom in that structure for me and my team and for my clients. And so your team is going to be more bought in and they're going to be more successful when they know what to expect and they can see that in advance. That is another thing that I think is important, but it's really challenging to bring a team in to a mess, into things that aren't working or that are sloppy or are not really consistent, they can't keep up. It's not going to be a good, thriving, positive experience. And I can tell you firsthand, they won't stick around. You'll be, instead of replacing clients, you'll be replacing team. And if you have people that are going to work with your clients, there needs to be proper training. We do like a 4-week training with any success coach that's coming in. You know my whole methodology inside and out, and you are tested and you are shadowing me for a period of time. There's a whole process in order for me to put a success coach in place of me to serve my clients. That's just something that, and we're revamping that whole thing right now. I'm doing it right now because I'm changing a lot, and that's going to look different, and I'm not jeopardizing my clients. So you have to protect all the different areas. You can't just be like, hey, I don't know who you are, but come in and like nurture my Facebook group. That's your representation. They're representing you. And if they're not saying what you would say, if they don't do it right, if they're insulting, or just if they're not doing what needs to be done with your audience, you're losing sales and relationships and your reputation. And so we just need to consider all of this. And this is why you're going to do everything in the beginning until we get it down. And you're going to follow it all the way through. And we're going to get the data that we need so that we can make these proper decisions. This is a multi-year experience, right? So definitely love this conversation. I'm going to send you guys details for the Monday Q&A. Make sure you're pulling your questions together. Go back through the replays and get touched up if you need to, and bring all those questions to that call. It's a great opportunity to get personalization and just make sure you're really clear on this whole process. Also, if you are applying or have applied for either of the programs, the Sell on Social or the Profitable Entrepreneur, we're getting to the applications. There's a lot more than I thought, and I'm trying to sift through. It might be Monday if you don't hear today, but I promise I'm getting to everybody. We have both of those links. We'll email them both out to you as well with these replays today. And I would apply to the one that makes the most sense for you. Okay. If you're under that 8K a month, and it's like sales foundations that need to be put in place and clarity on that, the basic things, and just getting the clients and the sales up and getting that talk down and the systems in place. Definitely I would apply for the Sell on Social. That is where we're doing more of those things. And then in the Profitable Entrepreneur, it's really, we're scaling a signature group coaching program at scale. And so that is, we are live launching, we are selling, we are growing the audience, we are doing all those things. You're going to want to have your basic things in place, right? To be successful there. The other thing to remember, couple of quick bonuses. If you pay in full, we have a year's worth of Voxer with me privately. So that's daily, Monday through Friday, private Voxer coaching support. Also, June 6th, so next Monday through July 6th, so for 30 days, we are doing just for my clients, I am doing 30-day challenge to 300 leads. So basically, I'm going to give you a prompt, an action step, a prompt every day, with a swipe or an example or a template to go implement. It'll take you 1 minute or less every day for 30 days. By the end of it, you'll have at least 300 new leads in your ecosystem. We just talked about why that's important. You're not only going to have that, but you're going to learn that skill. You're going to learn what you can do in under a minute or a minute a day to grow your audience. And that's going to happen. And then you can turn around and sell to those people, right? So there's a lot of value in that. We're going to be hosting that for our clients, kicking off Monday. It's going to go through July 6th. Also, when you join either one of the programs, you're going to get access to my Sales on Demand cash injection training. Been teaching it for 8 years. It is amazing. And these are not, it's our launch strategy. It's a launch strategy, but it's not a live launch. You'll run this for 1 to 2 weeks. We give you the templates, the swipe, and basically it's go do this action step. And you're basically going to do that for 1 to 2 weeks. There's certain things we got training on the whole thing. Basically, the goal is that within that 1 to 2 weeks, you earn your whole investment back, because we want the rest of the time in the program to be profit for you. And we want to have your full attention. So we are going to also release you into that so that you could follow that. So those are a couple of the bonuses. It doesn't matter for the challenge, the 300 leads in 30-day challenge, or the Sales on Demand. You're going to get those in either program, whether you pay in full or you do the monthly payment. The only thing that is a pay in full bonus is the 12 months of Voxer with me. So lots of great things. We'll recap this all in an email for you. You're gonna see the post going out in the emails. We'll get this replay on the replay page with the workbook, as well as the links to both of those programs. Apply where it makes sense for you, and know that our goal is graduation. Whether it takes you 6 months or it takes you 12 months or 2 years, you can renew, you can stay until we get you there, but the goal is graduated. We want you to start where you're here, where you're at. So sell on social maybe, and then profitable entrepreneur, and then momentum mastermind. It's a scaled process, multi-year. And so we want to make sure proper placement is happening. So apply for where you think you are, what makes the most sense for you. If you have questions and you're just not sure, send me a DM. I personally answer those. So send me a DM, send me an email, however you want to communicate. We can absolutely just make sure you're going in the right places and we get you where you need to be. You guys have been fantastic. This has been such a pleasure, so much fun. You guys have been giving me a good amount of your time every day. And I promise the future workshops, we're going to trim them down. We always do. But we're so happy to have you guys here. Honored to be able to go through these 4 days with you. I hope you got so much value and takeaways and breakthroughs. And I hope you're getting reignited and re-energized and excited about your business and inspired. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to get lots of great stuff over to you guys here shortly via email. So watch for that. I hope to see your applications come through. I'm working through them. I promise. If you've sent it, thank you. I'll get to it. If not today, by Monday. And we'll have a conversation. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic day. Bye, everybody.